If you're going to stop tough Roundup-resistant weeds on your farm, there are many different post-emerge herbicide options, and we're going to talk about those today. But before we do, I just want to tell you, they all stink, okay? They are not good. I just want you to know this, and they're expensive, many of them.
Now we're going to tell you to use them. I don't understand what sense this makes, Brian.
But here's what sense it makes, okay? If you're not doing a pre-emerge herbicide and you're just going to go with Roundup post-emerge, good luck. Okay, it's not going to work very well. You've got to get a pre down. In fact, in many cases, we'll tell guys 3 pre-emerge herbicides. You can use 3 pre-emerge herbicides for less cost than 1 post-emerge herbicide in a lot of cases, if you pick the right pre. So we'll talk more about pre-emerge herbicides for soybeans on another show. But with these post products, we'll tell you which ones you can use and where best to use them. But just understand, with all of them, the weeds have to be small, you have to have great growing conditions, and don't expect perfect results.
All right. So now that we've gotten your expectations down really
as low as they can be,
let's talk through some of these products. So first of all, chances are if you're planting soybeans, it's either a Roundup Ready soybean or a Liberty Link soybean. So you have the option of putting in Roundup or Liberty. If you've got those crops, I would strongly suggest using Roundup and using Liberty. Now, if you want to add a tank mix partner, probably you're not doing it with Liberty because other than volunteer corn herbicides, because Liberty is still doing a pretty good job and we don't have a big resistant weed issue. But let's say you got some big weeds or something like that, you could actually tank mix products with Liberty. On the Roundup side, that's predominantly where we're seeing all the tank mixes going on. Keep in mind with Roundup, we're still getting great activity on grasses out in the field, most of them anyway. There's a couple now that are Roundup resistant. And we're getting great activity on some of the broadleaf species. So not every weed out there is Roundup resistant. So I don't suggest leaving the Roundup out of the tank. We still need the Roundup. But if you've got a weed like Palmer pigweed, for example, that is resistant to Roundup, and you're putting Roundup in the tank, just figure like you're just adding more water and then use a full rate of whatever other product you're using, enough to kill the actual weed you're going after.
All right, our best suggestion for you here, just go to the Ag PhD Field Guide app. It's a free app for your smartphone or your tablet, and then you can look up any of these weeds or many others and what our best recommendations are for soybeans as well as for corn and for wheat. So let's do rapid fire, Darren. Come up with, let's take the top 5 or so weeds.
All right, well, let's take the number 1 weed then. Palmer pigweed or water hemp,
okay.
The pigweed species.
Yep, best thing you can do is FlexStar. You want to spray FlexStar early. It's got soil residual. Keep the rate down though, because we're worried about carryover, especially if you're farther north. So a lot of times you talk about 12 ounces, even in areas where 16 or 20 ounces might be labeled. Other than that, Cobra is your next best choice. Cadet is not too bad either.
All right, giant ragweed.
I like first rate the best, Cobra number 2.
All right, common ragweed, same thing?
Same thing. Yep, first rate best, Cobra number 2 in my opinion. And you know what? FlexStar does have activity on both common and giant ragweed as well.
All right, mare's tail.
Good luck, but I would tell you, hey, let's do a first rate FlexStar combination or a FlexStar Classic combination, something like that.
Kochia.
Kochia is really tough. I mean, this is the one where it's the worst post-emerge. So if you have Kochia, you have to get a pre out. Post-emerge, the best thing is Cobra, and you're probably talking 60 to 70% control, and that's only if the weeds are small.
Well, the last one, I don't know if this is truly a resistant weed. I don't know of any resistance to Roundup, but lamb's quarters.
Yep, everybody seems to be fighting that. And our best suggestion here is go with Harass. That's the old Pinnacle, dirt cheap. You're talking $1 an acre. And that's one where, yes, you can use a pre, and yes, the pre is going to be better, but man, it's only $1 an acre. The only problem with Harass, as is the problem with a lot of these other tank mix partners, they may end up stunting your beans a little bit. Hey, one other one that I thought of, Darren, is wild buckwheat. That's where we like Pursuit the best.
All right, what about surfactants? Because that's another challenge too. With Roundup, yep, they talk about, well, you can use non-ionic surfactant, but many of these other ones you talked about, these products are, yep, crop oil or MSO.
Right. If the other product is doing the work, then you have to use the adjuvant for the other product. In other words, if it calls for oil, use oil. And I don't care what the people that are making Roundup say. Yes, anytime you have a crop oil or methylated seed oil together with something like a Cobra, you're going to see more leaf burn. That's the way it goes. But the flip side is you're going to get better weed control. So it just depends on what you're after, how many weeds you're talking about here. But again, I stress to you, all these products are not great. And by the way, whenever you burn the leaves, what happens? You thin the leaf canopy a little bit, meaning sunlight gets to the ground, meaning what? You have more weeds coming up later on. So use better pre-emerge herbicides, and hopefully you don't have to use much post.
All right, we talked about a lot of weeds here that we can control in soybeans, but we didn't talk about our weed of the week. We'll show you what controls it coming up later in the show.